In the words of one of his staunchest political allies, Edward M. Burke is an alderman among aldermen. One of the last of the Southwest Side Irish political bosses who ruled Chicago for most of the 20th century, Burke is the longest-serving alderman in the history of the city council, and chairman of its most powerful committee, Finance. Burke joined the council in 1969, at the age of 25, winning a special election to replace his recently deceased father, Joseph P. Burke, who had been elected 14th Ward alderman in 1953. It's a Chicago political dynasty second only to the Daleys in influence and durability, and like the Daley dynasty, it's a family business. Every ward boss needs a guy in Springfield, so in 1990, Burke got his younger brother, Dan, elected to the Illinois state legislature. Burke also chairs the Cook County Democratic Party's Judicial Slating Committee, which enabled him to place his wife Ann on the state Supreme Court, where she has sat since 2006. Burke is, in short, a big deal in Chicago politics, with impeccable Democratic Party bona fides, but he suddenly finds himself facing an unexpected headache: his affiliation with Donald Trump. Burke and his wife live in a 3-story compound the Chicago Sun-Times once called the Palace. Burke didn't build that house with his $109,994 a year city council salary. He built it with the profits from his law firm, Clafter & Burke, specializes in winning property tax breaks for wealthy developers. While it may be lucrative, Burke's legal business is now damaging his family's political fortunes. Until recently, one of his clients was 401 North Wabash Venture, LLC, more commonly known as the Trump International Hotel and Tower. Burke began representing the future president's 92-story condominium and hotel on the Chicago River in 2006, and over the past decade, he has saved the real estate baron $14.1 million in property taxes. Burke won tax reductions for Trump by persuading the Cook County assessor and/or the Board of Review that the building's failure to find tenants for its retail space made it less valuable than the assessor's original estimate. We believe that this vacant unused space, at this time, adds no value of the fee simple market value of the property, argued a report filed with a 2012 tax objection. Burke has also saved money for owners of the building's 480-plus condos, whose property taxes fell accordingly. When Burke's tax objections were denied, he took Trump's case to court. Burke's firm filed 6 lawsuits against the Cook County treasurer, alleging that the Trump Tower's assessment is not based upon the fair market value of the property and is excessive, and is illegal in that the property is being assessed disproportionately higher than similar property. When the relationship between Burke and Trump began, Trump was just a New York blowhard who hosted The Apprentice. But Burke continued to represent Trump, even after Trump's 2015 presidential campaign announcement calling Mexican immigrants drug dealers, criminals and rapists, even after he turned Chicago into a political punching bag, calling the liberal city's murder rate totally out of control and threatening to send in the National Guard. In fact, Burke's most recent suit was filed on May 31, 2017, 4 months after Trump was sworn in as president. So far, 1 suit has been dismissed, while the rest are still pending in Cook County Circuit Court. It was a strict business deal, said Dick Simpson, a political science professor at the University of Illinois Chicago who served with Burke on the city council in the 1970s. But that's not how many voters in his district see it. Back in the 1950s, when the Burkes came to power, the Southwest Side was populated by Irish, Poles, and Lithuanians, some of whose families had been drawn there by now closed Union stockyards made famous in Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. In recent years, though, its closely spaced multi-family brick houses have filled up with Mexican immigrants who have opened taquerias and found jobs in steel processing plants. The neighborhood is now 70% Latino, and the community was electrified politically by the 2015 mayoral race, when Cook County Commissioner Jesus Chuy Garcia forced Mayor Rahm Emanuel into a runoff. Trump's name is poison in Chicago, where he received 12% of the vote, his worst showing in any of the nation's 15 largest cities, and which he continues to disparage as a failed city rife with murder and illegal